Now, the presidency has condemned calls, incessant calls for secession and restructuring by some persons. Addressing journalists in Abuja Tuesday, the senior special assistant to the president of media and publicity, Garba Shehu, frowned at the agitation, but said that the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable. Shehu said those advocating secession are the problem of the country. He said government will continue to do its best to protect Nigerians no matter the situation. Now, we know the situation of Biafra, the civil war, and all that. Even after they come, after they go strong, there's been this scanty agitation by, I know the laws are divided when it comes to that. But now when we have Yoruba groups coming out to call for secession, how did we get to this point? Why do you think this call now? I mean, before now, the call for restructuring was clear, and now the past 2-3 years have been intense call for that. But looks like now the secession is growing louder than true federalism or restructuring.
Okay, well, I go to Kennedy, the much quoted Kennedy phrase that those who make peaceful change possible make violent change inevitable. You see, people have been calling for restructuring for quite a while. In particular, Pronaco, funded by late Chief Nauru, late Kuti, that's Beko, then Professor Olusoyinka and other people. I think that is the most well-structured group, in my view, on this issue of restructuring of Nigeria. They even took time to have professionals from all the ethnic groups. Virtually all ethnic groups are represented in that group. Now, but has the government been listening to them? Even though Obama's time, he tried to muzzle Pronaco, so that nobody should call for restructuring. Then Jonathan came. We had this conference in 2014. That conference had about 600 resolutions on how Nigeria should be restructured. Then with about 10,335 pages of documents that the then President Jonathan promised will be taken to the National Assembly, but there were hidden things in that, conference, but it never saw the light of day. Now, people have been talking and they have not been listened to. So, and look at Inaro is late, Beko is late, Soyinka is in his 80s. They've spoken a lot of grammar, they've been logical and reasonable. Now we have a younger generation who is in a hurry to see changes take place. Unfortunately also, the present administration of President Buhari has flagrantly, disobeyed the Constitution of Nigeria in respect of the federal character principle in the Constitution of Nigeria. The other time when appointments were made into the DSS, Katsina alone had more people than the entire eastern Nigeria. You understand? Recently, the National Human Rights Commission was constituted. 3, the chair, and 2 other people, they are from Kebbi State, out of 15 members. Even the renowned human rights activist, Mr. Femi Falana, rejected that council, constituted by the federal government. You go to the CAC, go everywhere. Look at the 15 judges of the Court of Appeal. Even Northern Christians who are judges of Court of Appeal rejected that list. So what are we talking about? You live in a country where there's no equity, where there's no justice, where a section of the country is being favored. In the South, we have thousands of graduates who are jobless. What do you expect them to do? So too in the South generally. That's why they will end up joining IPOB, ESL, the Yoruba group, all that. Nigeria is not friendly to the South. That is the simple truth. Okay, that is the simple truth.
Let me hear you.
My thought is this. I do not think that there is any crime in self-determination. Where the crime is how you go about it. It is happening in England, where the Scottish people want to leave. If you are not comfortable where you are, nobody can bind you, force you to remain there. I agree totally with those who are not happy, but it is how you go about it that is the problem. My brother, in line with what he has said, if you look at all the appointments so far, it is laughable. From the IG of police, you can see how it is from one northerner to the other continuously. If you go to a lot of police area commands in Lagos, DPO offices in Lagos, you see that more than 3/4 of it are northerners, even in Lagos. You go to the east, the commissioner of police there is a northerner in Imo State, where there is a problem. So if these things are not balanced, you will always have a problem. I don't know why it is difficult to balance these things. There is no federal presence in Imo. I'm from there. I don't know what our governor is talking about. There's no federal presence. At a point, the vice president, as at last tenure, directed all oil companies to relocate to where they get their oil and make their headquarters there. They refused. They didn't go. They are still in Lagos. Now, when you do not have a fair spread of appointments, you will have problems. You will have problems. Now, Boko Haram and the bandits, herdsmen, are causing havoc in the east. The Easterners or the people from the east are trying to repel them, but instead of the security agencies to act on the people coming to cause problem, you are acting on the people defending their rights. Why won't you expect calls for secession when you're not being fair? In Abeokuta, I remember, was it last month?
Yes.
The people of Abeokuta repelled herdsmen. The police came and arrested the people. The soldiers came to arrest the people that repelled the herdsmen. What do you expect these people to do? Nigeria belongs to everybody. Nigeria does not belong to a set of people. So when you bring out things that are not fair, glaringly, what do you expect?
Yeah, but you seem to have mentioned the north a lot. Well, they too, they've had their fair share of their troubles, especially with the Boko Haram attacks.
They are attacking themselves. Why should we interfere? They are attacking yourself. And if you, who is the head of the government, finds it good for you, then let it be. But don't spread to other places.
Now, there's a new dimension to this issue in Zamfara State. Now we have this group, Hausa group, now attacking the Fulanis. They're attacking the Fulanis. And look at the argument. They say that the federal government and the governor of Zamfara State, they are supporting the Fulanis against them, native Hausas. They call themselves the Yakai or Yasai group, the Hausa group. So there have been reprisal attacks in Zamfara State. No, so we go back to the issue of secession. Now, how do we avoid secession? If we can avoid it, we must have a genuine, truthful national conference, not the previous ones. One that the National Assembly will be involved in. They will have to be there and a representative join them there. So that we're not going to be waiting for a president.
Wouldn't that have more politics, especially with a ruling party mostly involved?
No. Look at what I'm thinking. I've been thinking about this thing. Now, the National Assembly is there. They are supposed to be who? Our representatives.
They're
supposed to be our representatives,
yes,
right?
Supposed to.
3 senators from each state. So by the time we have a representative from each state, they will work with those senators from each state, so that our wishes, for example, on the issue of state policing, when we state it, they will pass it right there and then. You understand? Then the states, Houses of Assembly, will also join them. That's a feasible solution if we don't want secession.
So how do true federalism?
But for all you know, my brother, gradually the federalism is coming up. I just told you that EFCC has been signed, a commission has been signed in Lagos. EFCC back off. That's what they are trying to say. Let Lagos deal with its problems on corruption. Before you know it, this same thing will spread to other states. That's one goal achieved. The next time we are going to be talking about is, look, federal government, you are taking too much money. We are going to look at our sharing formula at FAC. The states will produce and give you something. It is gradual. If look, because If we don't do it by force, we need to do it intelligently. But we cannot go on like this. Every ministry you go to, I don't want to say what we see there. Every ministry, yes, they might say an Easterner is the minister, but just look down. Look down. All the courts, federal high courts in Abuja, the same thing.
So, true federalism, restructuring, are they the same thing?
Well, for us to restructure, it means we must have true federalism. You understand? That's what it means.
So, true
like
federalism,
he mentioned,
true federalism is just one aspect of restructuring.
No, you see, by the time we have true federalism, it means that we will obey our constitution. One, then we will need to amend the constitution. So where need be.
Sorry, but how does true federalism stop us from obeying the constitution? Is the constitution not supposed to be binding for everybody?
Right now, is the constitution being obeyed by the federal government? I will say no. The federal character principle is all over the constitution. You understand? Even from the elective principle of state policy to section 153 of the constitution and to the schedule to the constitution, you have federal character principle clearly stated out. You understand? That is supposed to permeate all forms of federal appointments. Even go to the states too. You understand? So, but that is not being obeyed. But by the time you have it expressly written that the chiefs of the Air Force, the Army chiefs, security chiefs, must be constituted by members from each geopolitical zone. You understand? If you want to write it out clearly like that.
At every given time.
At every given time. You understand? It will be, but now, if having written it down, proper federalism means obeying it. You understand? When you now obey that provision of law, we can say we have proper federalism. But a situation whereby every area of the national space, ministries, agencies, all of them are dominated by people from only one section of the country. You understand? You make other people feel helpless. You understand? You make them feel like second-class citizens in their country.
So why do you think the ruling elites are fighting against these achievements of true federalism structure?
You see, it comes every time there's a new government. Permit me to say, it is not only predominant in this administration. It appears to me that every administration that comes also violates the constitution a lot of times. Let me give you an instance. This thing, the call of this Juson strike. There has been a court judgment, not yesterday, not last year, not 3 years ago, on financial autonomy of the judiciary. As at the time these judgments and all these things have been happening, Buhari was not there probably. So he comes into power. Is it that they cannot see? Sanwo-Olu was not there when the agitation of this financial autonomy of judiciary started. I think it was during Ambode's time or before, but he's here now, and it is difficult to enforce the constitution. That means we have a problem. We have a problem. It means that if another administration comes in, they will still continue where they are, still telling us that the judiciary should be in our pockets or in their pockets. That's what it is. So the problem is having good people, not just good, responsible people, responsible leaders to be in that situation. Because I do not think that if you have this kind of administration or the ones before, it will still be back to Egypt.
Now let's talk about the resource control now. It's part of the restructuring, right? Yeah. Now, even as it is, let's use the Niger Delta now, for example, where the allegation of fraud in the Niger Delta doesn't seem to come from the doesn't seem to be pointing to the federal government. It's pointing to the leaders of the Niger Delta itself. Like we have one where
the turn of the mic. Is it the turn of the mic saga?
Exactly.
So, of the mic.
So now, in this case, the federal government controls the resources, and yet there is massive corruption among the Niger Delta chieftains. What happens when they now control that resources?
You see, actually, as long as Nigeria remains a federation, there's no time, even during days of regionalism, there was no time that states fully control their resources. They still remit a part to the federal government. You understand? Now, I think if you look at it presently, states take like 30% now. Federal government takes 70% in the revenue allocation formula. About that. Then previously, the regions had the lion's share. You understand? Maybe where the source it came from, you have 70%. You understand? Then, 50%. Then 30% will be shared by all the regions, including the states that produce the thing. Then the balance of 20% of them go to the federal government. That was where Nigeria was in the first republic. And because, like James mentioned, we had good people. We had an hour, for example, in the Western region. Look at what he did with the resources of the Western region at that time. Even go to the East, in Bakwe, he did a lot.
But it is different.
He did a lot. But even talking about the Niger Delta, when we are talking about the Niger Delta, you can see people like Donald Duke. You understand? He did well for his people. Then the guy who came after Donald Duke too, Imoke. I think he also did well. Now, the minister who now became the former governor of Akwa Ibom State. You understand? So though it may be said that he was wasteful, but he also tried for his state, because I've been there. You understand the way he tied most of the areas.
I think he thinks the current governor that did that, not him.
No, he did it. As governor, I remember. Yes. No. As governor of that state, okay. I remembered he did some good work. But whether he has done enough is another thing. You understand? So, like he mentioned, we need good people. Some people have said there's nothing even wrong with that 1999. Some people have said that. They said that with the constitution the way it is, if you have good people to implement it, it won't be as difficult. This won't be as difficult as we are talking about.
Let's say
you see, for the Niger Delta, I do not want to say people that fear God. No, I want to say people that have conscience, because a lot of times many of our problems in this country has to do with religion. I'm this and that. No, if you have conscience and if you think that the next man is a human being, then you do the right thing. In the Niger Delta, for instance, these people are still appointed by the presidency. The appointing person puts his man there. All these things have, you put your man there to, yes. You put a man that probably I have said it on this program. They know that this man probably has some criminal records. And they put you there. And they put you there. So that the day you don't play the game, they bring out your criminal record. I have said it so many times here. And I believe that's how it works, in my opinion. That's how it works. Because I know that there are people that have conscience, that if they're saddled with that responsibility, they will do exceedingly very well. That's just my problem. There's nothing, the Constitution, after all, the good parts of the Constitution are still being violated. So when you say the Constitution is bad, I don't think so. It is the persons that execute what is in the Constitution that matters a lot. But for secession, if the government wants this country to be together, they need to do the right thing. They need to be fair. They need to arrest those that are doing evil and free those that are not doing evil. You cannot continue leaving bandits when you catch them. Somebody is telling you that he knows where the bandits are. He goes there to negotiate with bandits, and you leave him alone.
Okay.
And the country is supposed to be together.